Right then. Well, first of all, a very warm welcome to Simon Kohler. And if you're watching this at all, then I'm sure he needs no introduction. But just in case, Mr. Kohler is, I think, the Marketing and Development Director of Hornby Hobbies Limited. Is that right, Simon?
Yes, for my
That's
sin.
one of the titles of which we rejoice in.
I,
Well,
am not. To be honest, I'm not big on titles. When people ask me that, I cast my eye to the left and I have to check my business card. I've never actually been big on titles. I am what I am. As they
very
say.
good. Very good.
Anyway,
Well,
off you
I
go.
confess I'm a little bit shocked. I was a bit cheeky in asking you to take part in this at all, and the openness of the company and yourself to engage is great. So I'm grateful for your time.
Yep, it's fine.
And I've invited Simon onto the channel for a friendly discussion about the two major announcements made by Hornby over the last few months, TT120 and HM7000. I think it's fair to say that either of these on their own would count as an industry disrupting event, but together I suggest that they are the biggest shakeup of our hobby for the last 20 years. So the plan is to deal with these things separately. HM7000 questions first, then move on to TT120. There's just about 8 or 9 questions I had for each, and Simon was willing enough to try to answer them for me. So HM7000 first of all, Simon, if that's okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Right then, will your future releases, both in 00 and TT, be compatible with HM7000?
Well, yes. I mean, really, people can get themselves a little bit sort of wound up about when we mentioned Bluetooth. Basically, what you're going to look at it is that you have a normal DCC decoder, in fact, a very good DCC decoder, which has a Bluetooth aerial, whatever you want to call it, receiver, just bolted on.
Yeah,
that's all it is. So it is a little bit larger than your standard decoders, not a lot. And really, if you can plug it in as you would do anything normally, and really off you go. So don't get too hung up about Bluetooth. Bluetooth is just a receiver.
Yeah.
So that's that. Instead of it going through the track, it's just coming through the air. That's all.
Excellent. Yeah. And in that regard, I do love my wee packet.
Yeah.
It's only a 4-pin socket, and there's a few of your other existing products that are 4 pins. Is there a way of getting these things to be compatible, or would there be an update to them? Is that possible in future?
Well, the immediate answer is not at the moment. Okay. But it is certainly planned to have that.
Sure.
The thing with the packet is obviously you are very, very tight on space.
Yeah.
And as I've just said, they are a little bit larger. But it is obviously, obviously we produce a 4-pin, so we must in the future produce a 4-pin Bluetooth decoder, and we will.
Excellent. Great. If you had a fleet of older locos that have no DCC compatibility at all, traditionally people would tend to sort of hardwire in perhaps a DCC chip. Is that possible to do?
Yeah. Again, exactly the same as you would do any other chip. It's the same chip, just the Bluetooth receiver bolted on. Sure. So yes, is the answer.
That's good. And in terms of the chip itself, because it's got more stuff going on, does it produce any more heat? Is there a thermal restraint or constraint on you?
No, I mean, and so on? No, sorry, I could have crossed you. No, I mean it's the same as any other decoder. It doesn't. I've never known one overheat. The only time any decoder will overheat if you're trying to pull too many amps through it.
Sure.
So no, it's fine. You shouldn't have any issues there.
Excellent. And one area where I've heard some chatter is about the usefulness, benefits of physically tactile controls.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of on a screens that I've looked down all the time. Would a sort of Bluetooth slave of some kind be possible to tie into this to make people give people actually a knob? Or is that too new?
No. I mean, you're looking at, if you like, the phase 1, stage 1, whatever of our 7000. We have lots of ideas and plans and things that will evolve. We already, with the use of a dongle, If you've got an RJ12 socket on the back, like you have on a Select or on an Elite, and I do believe on other units out there, you can plug that in, and then not only can you use your iPad or whatever to control the locos which have either Bluetooth decoders on them or not. Okay. You can actually use your controller to control the Bluetooth fitted locos.
Okay, so it's working. It's two-way compatible, and the Bluetooth.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, two-way compatible. Okay. That's what I should have said.
No, that's tremendous. I wasn't sure on that. So that's
no. But you're not the only one. I mean, I'm quite like things fairly tactile. I'm old school, but it is surprising how quickly, because I've been in Germany last week. That's why I've got this cold. You do get used to tapping screens and sliding and all the rest of it. But I do understand when people, they do want, they like to grab hold of, the controller and give it some willing.
Yeah, very good. Wayland system coming out, but obviously it cannot be more than, as you mentioned, version 1 for the first stage. It's not yet, for example, capable of replacing a fully automated railway software package like eLink and Railmaster put together. Do you see this coming to that? Do you see the app gaining that functionality?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that has to be it. That and loco detection, etc. Okay. That's already on the drawing board. So loco detection with using Bluetooth is actually quite straightforward.
Yeah.
My big thing with loco detection has always been too many wires. And if we can get away from those wires and just have something subtle, then that's the answer to it. And when you have loco detection, then you can, the next stage is obviously to have automatic running and so on. So yeah, it's all there. It's all on the drawing board.
Brilliant. And that'll come together with, as the technology advances, these things are almost an inevitability about them. That'll be great to see. And we mentioned the Bluetooth dongle, just to tie that up. That works for the Elite and the Select controllers just now.
Yeah.
Other manufacturers do exist. They may use a LocoNet plug. Would it be possible to create a dongle for these ones, or would that be for manufacturers to do, or how would that work?
It should work. If they've got, to be fair, I mean, we have tested certainly on a couple of these other units, and it does work. But obviously, because they're not our units, we can't guarantee it.
No, I understand that. I think that's fair. I think nobody would expect that you to have done testing everybody else's units. So no, that's great, Simon. I'm working at the level of the app, assuming what comes out. And I've played around a fair bit with the HMDC app before this. Am I right in thinking that the HMDC 6010 will work and integrate into the HM7000 app as well?
Exactly right. Exactly right. This will allow anybody. It's lovely. It's just a nice smooth transition. Sure. So you can, if you started with the HM6000 and you've got the 6010s, basically all you need to do, there's nothing. You don't throw anything away. Yeah. You're on your 6000. You can turn and you have decoders already in your locos. You can on your 6000 turn the power full up.
Yeah.
Then switch into your HM7000 app, and then you'll be able to control your locos. The 6010 works on Bluetooth, and it's the same. You're able to control using your 7000 pad to control your 6010 accessories.
Brilliant.
As we ably demonstrated in Nuremberg last week.
Very good. Very good.
I know. It's magic. It is magic. It's
great to see. I think that kind of sitting back and watching everything happen is almost the sort of the utopia that we always have, where nothing ever derails and there's no need for a hand to come in and so on.
Yeah, that happens in your dreams.
Right. just to wrap up the HM7000 matters, I think you've mentioned this before. Expected launch timeframes. How is that progressing? Are you?
Yeah, we're in the middle. We're in the middle of soak testing, which what that means is that every mother and his son has locos, have their 7,000 apps, and they're basically trying to break it. You know, trying to put it through its paces. How many locos? What happens? This, that, and the other. And providing all goes well, then it can be signed off. But I bet you a pound to a pinch of snuff that the minute it is released out there, somebody somewhere was, but if you do this, this, and this, it breaks. The beauty is, because it's Bluetooth, because it's over the air and all the rest of it, if that does happen, if you do find a bug, then a solution can be found fairly quickly, and it goes over the airways and it can be corrected. And it's not only your iPad or the app, it will also, if there's an error in the decoder, then that automatically gets corrected as well. And that's the clever thing.
That make a huge difference. That kind of
massive.
And update as well. New features can be added much more straightforwardly in that way.
And I mean, if for example, you know, with the sound, for example, we add more sounds or whatever, because you're aware obviously that the most decoders are one-time only sounds. With the HM7000 decoders, it's a bit like a tape recorder. You know, you can put one sound on of a 9F. Yeah, nice. Actually, I'm going to sell my 9F. I'm going to put it in my class 60. I can then download the sounds to a class 60. If, you know, we have, shall we say, 20 sounds, and then we suddenly decide, well, we've got some more sounds, we can actually download those extra sounds onto that decoder. So it's really, as I say, it's magic. It's really good.
Very flexible, the system.
Yeah, very, very.
That's great. Okay, well, thank you. If I move you on to TT120.
Yep.
So just to come back there, in terms of the actual launch time frame, do you have anything in mind? Because you used.
Oh, sorry. Once the soak testing's done and everything, I would say, if it all goes well, probably beginning to middle of March, I would think.
Oh, that's good.
But the hold-up has actually been, you're probably aware there's a worldwide shortage of chips and things, and that's been part of our problem. But that's now working its way through. So we've got the decoders in the warehouse, and so now we have almost a limited supply of decoders. We can actually really do some soak testing. So all goes well, early, mid-March.
Very good.
But don't hold me to that, because it won't be released until we're 100% happy.
No, that's fair enough. Things can always come up, but it's good an idea.
Yes, they can, even on the last minute. Trust me.
Like a Zoom link that doesn't work.
Like a Zoom link. You're dead right.
Right, TT120 then. In the last TT talk that you had with was it Montana and Carl?
Carl was there. Yeah,
you were obviously excited about the upcoming Class 66s. That was anything to share with us? Is that still progressing well?
Not only that, I give Carl a hard time every time I see him about where's my 66. He is to be fair to him, and he won't see this. But I mean, it's not, it's not an easy model. I think we've designed something like 10 variants, if not more. And we also have to look at, our European market. The 66 is run in Europe, and that's again slightly different. So there's been an awful lot of drawing time to do. That has finished. We're in the process now where I think we've had quotes in, and so they'll be cutting steel fairly soon. So what does that mean? Well, it probably means you'll start to see shots probably round about May time, and there'll be an awful lot of pressure to get the model out before Christmas. Okay. But I always say, won't rush it. Has to come out, has to be right. I don't want it to, rush it and then find we have issues.
Yeah.
But that I would like it out before Christmas. We've got some exciting rolling stock coming through, which will be absolutely tailor-made for the 66.
Yeah. There's a fair bit in the catalogue there too.
Yeah, there is a lot. I had a TT meeting this morning, and I'm looking at what's coming through, and yeah, it's pretty impressive. Actually, behind me the list, but the aim is I want something new every 3 months, if not more often. So it's people can see that the range is building, and it won't just be rolling stock. We've got extra track, we've got double straights coming through. I think it's October. We'll have flexi track coming through, hopefully before Christmas. So it's the whole thing is building up very nicely.
Great. Can you talk about the pricing structure that's been adopted?
Yep.
For example, the new Flying Scotsman, I've seen a few YouTube videos of already, with the club discount, comes out at about £125,
right,
which is quite a bit less than you might expect for a new tool 00 model. Can you talk us?
Yeah, there has been some talk, controversy, or whatever you want to call it, over the fact that we took a decision fairly early on that we would deal directly with the public with this.
Yeah.
As an intro, the key thing with any new product or any new thing, certainly in the railway business, is that you want to get it out there as quickly as possible. You want to build the market as quickly as possible. And I have a great deal of time for our retail network, certainly in this country. And they work very hard and they're very helpful, so on. But some are not quite so keen to adopt something as radical, and some may say revolutionary, as TT120. And we as a company cannot we can't dither. So we took it upon ourselves that the whole marketing approach would be direct to the public. So there's no you can try Bill's bottle shop up the road, see if they've got it, or somewhere else. We want people when they go into a shop or whatever, they want to be able to see the full range. And with the best will in the world, there's probably only maximum 20 or 30 retailers, I'll probably get shot down with this, who would be able to take and want to take the whole lot and actually work at it and market it and sell it. With us handling it ourselves, we can do that. We've got the warehouse, we've got the stock. I can promote the blazes out of TT100. It's TT120. Just load it back to the way it was in the 60s. I can really go for it, and I can offer discounts. If we would put it into the retail shops, and then ourselves, because we have an online operation, then start offering discounts, etc. How's the retailer going to feel? He'll be pretty upset. But I'm hamstrung if I do that. If I haven't got that commitment, then I can push, with promotions, with scenic packs, etc., and get this system going. Don't forget, at this precise moment, you can actually buy 2 sets and track.
Yeah.
Come next month, you'll have more wagons, you'll have hopefully an 08, etc. So we have that control. So people have one-stop shop, which is us at the moment. So we have to get it established. We're not asking any retailer to commit or whatever. We've taken all the commitment. We've taken all the risks. And that's as it should be. I have no worries about that at all. So because of that, we can get it established. Once it's established, then we can move on. And then open it up. But what I don't want is a guy who's just received his Easterner set. Yes, is lovely. Wants to go get more track. Goes to his local shop, and the guy said, "Yeah, well, I've got 2 bits of track over there." That's no good. And I know that happens because I was in at Worley back in November, and a guy said, "I get what you're doing." He said, "Because I model this particular brand." He said, "My local shop has 2 bits of track. That's all." He said, "So I always have to go online to get it."
Yeah.
So it's really offering the full bit. But, that's all it is. Who knows what's happening in the future?
Yeah, of course.
So, that's the thing. And I think most people do get what we're trying to do here. Not asking anybody, nobody's, as my mother said, what you've never had, you never lost, really. And it's not, it's not that we want all the money ourselves. It's not that at all. It's establishing the brand at the best way we can. And quite frankly, this is the best way at the moment.
Can we use the pricing you've given for TT models as an estimate as to what level of detail to expect? I'm looking at some of the models that on the face of it appear to be roughly equivalent, but there can be quite a discrepancy in terms of the pricing and so on.
When we put the pricing together, some of this was having to use best estimates, really, and that's how the price was put together. And these things may change. They may go up, they may come down. Doubt they'll come down. But
you said it now. That's definitely not getting cut out.
So it's those are the prices we see at the moment, and I think they're fair prices. Again, we're getting the brand established. Really, you're talking about detail. I get so many emails from people saying, "Got my set, love the logo, didn't realise it had this much detail on it."
Yeah,
and that is encouraging.
That's satisfying.
This isn't a bar of soap. This isn't. This is. As much as we can get on, which is physically possible without being silly, really.
I was looking particularly at the 66 and then the 50. So the 66 is just over £100. It's actually the cheapest model, but not the smallest model. And the 50 is, I think, about 150. The 08 is 120 or thereabouts. That are some of them equivalent to available plus models? Is that what guided?
No. It is a question of, you will have, as I said, will have these anomalies which will iron themselves out as it comes through. The 08 is actually a very well. That 08's been designed and tooled twice, because you've got to get so much in to a small space. And that is the problem, and it's got to be assembled, it's got to be made. You have to probably remember that the highest cost content in all this is labor, having to put it all together. Because they all have pickups, they all have motors, they all have bodies, etc. Material content is probably the least cost of all of it. So it is the labor of putting it together. And it's, funnily enough, it's the same with the 00 version of the 08. The 08 is an expensive model to make because it is trying to cram so much in. I'm not saying that I've got the price of the 66 right or the 50 right. I will be able to look at that. What we will do is when the 66 comes through, we'll just see where and the costs involved. But we will honour what we have, but who's to say what happens in the future? And similarly with the 50, I may have overcosted the 50, in which case we can adjust. It's a little bit guesstimate actually.
You're starting off. I don't think I was quibbling that. I was just trying to understand the rationale behind it.
No. There is a rationale, but the range, and we started. I mean, I've got I think it's about 10 phases which is about 5 years worth of development.
Yeah.
And I started putting this together in 2018.
Yeah.
So, things do change. Really.
Then the track builder part of the HMDC app has been very popular.
Yeah.
TT geometry support coming in. Yeah.
Yes, that is certainly on the cards. Once we've signed off on the 7000, then they're straight on to putting the track planning and TT on it as well. So that I'm personally looking forward to that, because at the moment I'm having to fiddle with some 00 quarter scale bits of track. The R619, just to give me a rough idea of how shapes. But no, I can't get that soon enough, to be honest.
And then I know, again, it's not always fair to ask outside companies, but Pico are doing TT120 track as well. They're announced for yourselves. Your own locos and rolling stock will run beautifully. No problems at all on that track.
Correct.
To use it.
Actually, I'm also told it runs on the old Triang track as well. The problem is with the old Triang locos and rolling stock running on new track is an issue because of the flanges. But I'm told by the old Triang TT enthusiasts, of which there are an awful lot, that the new track is the old locos, or the new locos will run on the old track. That's what I'm trying to say. It's been a long few days.
It's Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Then what's quite eye-catching in the catalog you produced, because they're all sort of profile shots, is the couplers look very different to what we're used to. We're so used to the tension lock couplers. Can you explain to me the merit of new couplers?
Yeah. One of the problems with British outline, the N-gauge 00, and probably other scales, is that they are unique to the UK.
Yeah.
You've got on N-gauge 1 to 148, where the rest of the world is 160th, and obviously 87th compared to 76. And that is mainly because the size of motors available at the time that these products were put together. Similar to the old TT, the old Triang 60 TT, which is 1 to 101.6. And I would guess, and I'm pretty certain I'm right, that it's to do with the size of the motors available at the time, which generates the fact that, we can use our own couplings, etc., which is not necessarily the same with N-gauge, but certainly with 00. The one thing we really wanted to ensure with this scale is that it was universal. So if, for example, I like a French HO train, and I want to put it on my 00 track, I can't couple it up to a 00 coach. It looks odd because my houses are out of proportion to the loco, etc. With 120, that scale is universal through Europe and through what's available in the States, and I've got people in Canada, Bulgaria of all places, as well. So it's a universal scale. The other key thing is to make sure that the couplings are universal as well, and those couplings we use are. So I can get a Class 58 German steam loco, hook it up to my Pullmans, and off it goes. Doesn't look odd, apart from obviously the style of the thing. So it all works together. So I do know this for a fact that a lot of Germans, TT is very popular in Germany, the old East German as well. They want locos like Flying Scotsman, Mallard. It means quite a lot to them. And they want to buy it and they want to run it with their stock. They can do that with those couplings. On top of that, those couplings are really good and they really come together. And they're quite subtle if you look at them. And yeah, so it really does all work. Similar with the geometry. People have said, why didn't you use, the old TT geometry or base the geometry on the 00 size? Well, experience has taught me over the years that anybody who's come into the UK with their own 00 HO track, and it hasn't been the same geometry as Hornby, falls flat in its face. You're wasting your time. The geometry we have is in line with the accepted geometry in certainly in Europe. So that's it, just trying to keep everything together and everything simple, really.
No, that's great. That's very helpful.
It's a long. I know it's a long answer, but I was really passionate about everything needing to work together.
So you're not introducing something that actually splinters the hobby further. It's something that actually unites it. That's the key. When you bring it can be easily done.
Yes, and it becomes more, and you will see it become more relevant when product that's produced by our sister company Arnold TT in Europe. I can use some of their rolling stock in the Hornby TT120 range, and vice versa. So, we're in a global. I know we've done Brexit and all the rest of it, one reason or another, but there's no reason why we should still try and be isolationist on this. And be honest, I think if Frank Hornby or at least his sons were developing something to suit the houses that they were looking for back in the 30s, and the motors had been available, they would have gone for HO, and it would have been a different world.
Roundup. In an imaginary world, in a horrible position that you're being put in, you can only have one thing. You can only have HM7000 or TT120. Which one do you pick? If you had to go with one.
That's like saying, what's my favourite child? I probably, if you're telling me my life depends on it, I'd probably go with TT. Yeah. And the reason I would go with TT is because I have been passionate about this scale and doing what we're doing since probably 2008, really, when it sort of occurred to me that we, the houses are getting smaller, much the same as obviously happened with Frank Hornby, as I was saying, back in the 30s. But I'm just passionate that it's a wonderful scale. It's a great scale. It brings model railways to people who find, not everybody, find that N-gauge is too fiddly, but they don't have room for 00. And my mailbox is full of people saying, this is exactly the right thing. I've had to downsize, or, I don't normally have room, but this is, this scale is just what I need. And at the end of the day, and anybody who comes to Glasgow, to the, they don't call it the SEC anymore.
Yes.
Is it something forum or campus? Something campus. But there's a big, Model Rail Scotland in a couple of weekends' time. Sure. We'll be there. I'll have a 4'6" by 3'6", whatever that is in metric, layout there, and you'll be able to see, you can get quite a bit in that sort of area, and that's just the beginning. So,
I think TT HM7000 is a brilliant step forward, but in 10, 20 years' time, it'll be replaced by something else because it's a technology solution, and these things do move on. Whereas a scale tends to have a longer lifetime and
Yeah,
span.
yeah.
So,
Look, I don't, TT will never, certainly not in my lifetime, will ever usurp double O. Double O will be there. But I believe passionately that model railways is such a fabulous pastime, and it's nothing to do with train spotting or rivet counting or anything like that. There is so much that people get out of modeling railways. They learn so much.
yeah.
They immerse themselves in it. It is it's a relaxant. It's up to me. I'd make it part of the national health. Get it on prescription. But I mean, it is. I just think people can get into it and really enjoy it. And I never cease to be amazed when I go to exhibitions or stand here and you find yourself looking at the trains just going round.
Yeah.
And it's so therapeutic.
Yeah,
It ticks so many boxes.
Myself, I've had it for a long time, and I think I would agree entirely. I think the amount of things you learn from woodwork, painting, detail, electronics. There's a whole
social history.
Absolutely. There's a whole range of things that are fascinating, and so I've always found it, and I've tried to encourage my own younger ones into that. So,
good.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kohler, for coming along. The time has been greatly appreciated. I didn't expect to get so much of your time this afternoon, and the amount of information I think has been tremendously helpful for myself, hopefully helpful for others out there in the Ethernet of the World Wide Web. And we'll see how they respond to it. We look forward to the comments that come through. So thank you once again for your time.
Right, you are more than welcome. And there's only one person who calls me Mr. Kohler, and that's the taxman. And I really don't like him. So it's always Simon. And I tell you, it's always a pleasure. And I can bore you for Scotland on model rail. I'll talk and talk and talk. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to have a good chat on a Friday afternoon.
Thank you very much, Simon.
All right, thanks.